Manchester United 2, Spurs 0. Eric Ten Hag, might as well call him Andrew Ted Hag, man. The way United fans are walking around as if they're top cheese of football, man. The way they're just beating every Big Six team aside, man. Nah. This is not acceptable. What's happening in 2022? Okay, City did humble them, but then the City, they defeated Liverpool, wiped the floor with Arsenal. Now they've wiped the floor with Spurs again, man. Chelsea's next for United. As a Chelsea fan, should I be worried? Nah. We can't accept this. We can't have this. Football is perfect when United is the banter team. Nah. Welcome everyone to MRM Sports. It's another episode, man. Game with 12 review show. United 2, Spurs 0, man. Hey, what the heck is happening? We can't have this in football. Eric Ten Hag, should you call him Andrew Tate Hag? United fans are walking all over as if they're top cheese. They're defeating any team, any Big Six team. Okay, they did lose to City, but anyone else, man, is catching the smoke with United. I can't believe United is this team. I mean, this is supposed to be a difficult start for them. This is supposed to be a difficult month for them. But they've defeated Liverpool. They defeated Arsenal. They defeated Spurs now. Chelsea's next. As a Chelsea fan, should I be worried? Nah, I can't have this. I can't have... No. No, football is not supposed to be like this. This is United's time to catch all the banter, all the smoke from Big Six teams. Now, all of a sudden, they are the big side team, man. They are the team which is defeating every Big Six. They've played already 4 of the Big Six. And they've won 3 of those games. Chelsea's next this weekend, game week 18. Now, we can't have this. Other than that, man, let me just go through all the results of the matches that have played this time for game week 12. It starts with Brighton versus Nottingham Forest. Or it was on a Tuesday. It was a nil-all draw, man. Brighton they need a striker urgently, ASAP. After the World Cup, they have to get a striker. I'm sorry, but Daniel Beck is not the answer for them. If they're to even think of Europa Conference football, they have to get a striker. Crystal Palace 2, Wolves 1. You know I'm a Palace. I have a soft spot for Palace, man. Blake Excellence, Patrick Vieira, Eze, and what's his name? And Zaha with the goals, 2-1. It was good to see Costa playing. Costa had a clear-cut chance, but then missed it. Then Wednesday, Bournemouth finally losing. I don't want to sound like a Bournemouth hater, but then they did lose the game to Southampton 1-0. Brentford and Chelsea played to a goalless draw, man. Chelsea had chances after chances. Broja had a clear-cut chance. Supposed to score it to Mount. It didn't, and it ended 0-0. And again, Kepa with the brilliant save. Kepa on form, man. Kepa on form. Kepa saving grace is back. This is the turnaround for Kepa, man. Liverpool, narrow victors against West Ham. 1-0 victory. Newcastle, man. Newcastle is just running through teams. Newcastle 1-0 to Everton. They could have scored 3-4 goals. Man United versus Spurs. United won that game. Let's start with United, man. What a brilliant showing for United. You know, I thought this game was going to be a difficult one because both teams like to sit deep and hit on the counter and play in the transition. But then I thought it might be a dull game. And I was wondering which team would take the honors and think, you know what, let's take control of this game. Let's control the mid. Let's be the one who dominate possession and attack teams and attack the opposition team. And United came through with that tactic, man. United played excellent. I mean, Fred was all over the pitch. You know, Fred is either he's good or bad. There's never an in-between in games. In this game, I think he was good. He did play well. He did get his deflected goal, obviously, which was, like, you know, with the way he played, he deserved the goal. It was like a goal. I think you create your own luck in football. And he took the shot, it deflected, and he got the goal. And Bruno with a brilliant, sweet goal. That's a classic Bruno goal. I mean, if you remember Bruno when he came through, was it 2019 or 2020? 2020 January, I think. No, was it 2021 January? Yeah. And he came through and was just doing everything he wanted in the league. Was the player of the year for me, of the half of the season, really. And he had a brilliant Bruno-ish goal. And I mean, Martinez and Varane, Kane and so on, non-existent, man. I don't know if it was a bad day in the office for Spurs or it was contest tactics which made them have a bad day in the office. But nonetheless, we're still on United, and United played brilliantly. I mean, you have to give it to Ten Hag. He knows what he's doing. Now he's showing us that he is a good coach. You know, in these big games, he makes the right calls. He puts out the right team. I mean, Casemiro is starting to show as if he's the Casemiro from Real Madrid, which is a scary thing. I thought he was going to flop. I thought he was going to another player because it's United to have his career done. But he's starting to show that he is the player which was playing with Kroos and Modric, man. Anthony is playing good. Rashford is playing good. I would have loved to see Rashford come from the flank. I don't think Sancho, for me at the moment, the only player I can say doesn't deserve to start week in, week out is Sancho. I think because of lack of options, maybe that's why he's coming through. If United had an out-and-out striker, number 9, maybe Sancho on the bench and then Rashford starting on his flank. Speaking of number 9, speaking of out-and-out strikers, I mean, Ronaldo to try and steal the show. I mean, that was so crazy. Unless if something happened, something serious happened, and they had to rush down the tunnel or whatnot. But then, for him to leave before the game is done, and the team is playing well, the team is winning. Maybe he was so pissed off, he thought he should come in and get a couple of goals. I mean, Spurs were dead and buried by then. It wasn't a nice showing from Ronaldo. I mean, he is the GOAT. You'd expect him to do something different. Just sit him through. Just enjoy your boys play the game. Enjoy them win. Don't try and steal the headline. I mean, for me, that was just him stealing the headlines. Unless if I'm wrong, something serious happened. Or maybe just had to rush to the toilet. Who knows? But then, man, that didn't look so good. But nonetheless, man, United are playing good football. I have to say, they are, even against Newcastle, game with 11, they did have chances. They should have won that game, really. They are playing good football. And it should be a worry for any team which is playing United now. I mean, Chelsea coming up weekend, but we'll get to the match a bit later. And on Spurs, man, I mean, this is the team which you were supposed to believe has the chance of winning a cup. This team is not playing, in this, they've played, how many teams have they played in the Big Six? They played Arsenal and Chelsea. Yeah, they played those two. They lost. Now they played United as well. They drew with Chelsea. They lost convincingly to Arsenal. And they've lost convincingly to United. In a team that you'd expect them to be on par. Because the squad which Ten Hag picked out. If we're going for player, talent for talent, you can argue that there are several players from United who can get into the Spurs team, vice versa. Those teams for me are evenly matched. If you think going forward Spurs have the better talent, midfield is a battle of which midfield to prefer. Defensive-wise, again, is a battle of which defense to prefer. And goalkeeping, maybe Varane, De Gea would slightly edge Hugo Lloris, man. But nonetheless, would expect them to be evenly matched. I mean, what's Conte thinking? Does he expect to always sit back and hit teams on the counter? I mean, he failed to do that this time around. I mean, I don't remember Kane having a clear-cut chance goal. I don't remember Son playing the best game of his life, having clear-cut chances, man. I know it's at Old Trafford. I know the crowd will be on your back as an opposition team. But then, you'd expect Spurs to do better. I think it's getting to a point now where Spurs might be thrown into the top 4 battle. They don't look guaranteed to have the top 4 spot. Unless if Conte changes his tactics, they don't look guaranteed to be a team that will fight for a top 4 position. I mean, if they're not careful, they'll be thrown into that whole pack of Liverpool, Chelsea, United fighting for top 4. And you have expected them to cement the 3rd position. But now what? They're 3 points ahead of Chelsea. And Chelsea have a game in hand or 2 games in hand. I think it's a game in hand. So really, if you are a Spurs fan, you should be worried. You should... I mean, it's archaic football. That kind of football would have won matches in the 80s, 90s, at most. I mean, now it's the 21st century. I mean, we're in an era where teams that win anything play dominant football, pressing, attacking football. They play the kind of football that you'd want your team to play if you're a footballing fan. You'd want your team to go all guns blazing. And the frustrating thing with Spurs, they have the talent. They have the personnel to do that. I mean, Kane and Son, we have seen how deadly they can be as a duo. But then they need the team to be up the pitch a bit. Because if they sit back, Kane has to drop even deeper to try and create something. And then he crowds the midfield. I mean, already 3 midfielders. I mean, if you're a Spurs fan, I think you have every right to be angry with Conte. Not with the team, but with Conte. Because again, last season around, I mean, Conte did say in the press conference that last season they lost to Cristiano Ronaldo, not Manchester United. But this time around, they did lose to Manchester United. I mean, United were the best in every department of the field, man. But yeah, nonetheless, if you're a United fan, this is a good time to be cheering your team on, man. It's a good time to be a United fan. In the start of the season, after those 2 horrendous games, everyone thought United would never finish, didn't have a chance to get in the top 4. But then this time around, I mean, it's now up to Chelsea and them, really. And Liverpool, you can't count Liverpool out, but then United can now say their own form can deserve them to be in the top 4. Just like Chelsea can, just like Liverpool can say, if you pick up form in the right time, we can get the top 4, man. But nonetheless, that's a good result for United at home. And then we jump into the Liverpool versus West Ham game. I mean, what a player Nunes is starting to turn out to be. I mean, 2 volleys. I mean, the first volley, yeah, the second on which hit the post. I mean, those volleys are just so crazy from Nunes. I mean, yeah, those volleys. You remember that season when Suarez was at Liverpool, where we just hit a volley from nowhere and then it would end at the back of the net. I know Nunes is Uruguay, and I'm not saying he's the next Suarez for Liverpool, but then those volleys are just something. It's a sight to behold, man. But yeah, Liverpool did win that game 1-0. West Ham, Bowen with a weak penalty. You could see Moyes fuming. Moyes was, when at Anfield you don't get chances, you won't get clear-cut chances to score goals. And Liverpool are still a top team. So if you're given a penalty, you expect your player to bury it. You really expect them to bury it. But then, yeah, man, Bowen felt for me it was a weak penalty. I think any keeper could have saved that penalty if they dived the right way. I think almost Premier League keepers would have saved that penalty. I mean, it didn't even. I mean, the height was perfect for Alisson. The pace was perfect for Alisson. And you wonder why Skamaka didn't take the penalty. I mean, Declan Rice normally takes them. You wonder why Bowen decided to step up. I've always preferred a striker to take the penalty. Unless if you're a Bruno or if you're a Jorginho with the skipper technique, which always confuses keepers. But then in any team, we expect the striker to take penalties. I mean, you should have given it to Skamaka. He's on form, he's scoring goals, he's playing well. Why not just give him the penalty for him to cement that number 9 position for West Ham? But back to Liverpool, man. It's back-to-back 1-0 victories at home. At least they're not conceding the first goal. They're keeping clean sheets, which is a confidence booster for the defense. Because over this season alone, the defense has been the weak point of the team, really. And they're creating chances. I mean, they could have scored 2 or 3 goals this game against West Ham. So for them to get that 1-0 victory and to try and through the result is an important 1-0 victory for Liverpool and Klopp, man. And they continue to chip down now on the points for the top 4, because you expect Liverpool to be part of the top 4 conversation. Everyone expected them to be conversation for the title, but then now they have to cement the top 4. It's still not too late to make a charge for the title, but then they have to win. Every game has to be a cup final now till, I think Klopp even said the same. From now to the World Cup, it has to be a cup final. They have to win games. They have to go to the World Cup within the touching distance for a top 4 or a top 3 if you drop Spurs in. But then nonetheless, yeah, that was a good result for Liverpool. Nunes with a brilliant header. It did bounce and it was a good header. A striker's header, really. And they're starting to click now, Liverpool. They're starting to click. It'll be interesting to see how they play the next game. I think it is a chance for them to demolish Nottingham Forest and make that statement again that we are coming back to our best self. And it will be interesting now to see the battle of the top 4, because all I know now looked as if it was United and Chelsea fighting for top 4, but then Liverpool are back in it now, I believe. If a Liverpool fan, I think will be confident enough to say, with the way things are going the way, I mean, defeating City and West Ham back-to-back, that's always a good sign for any team. And for a Liverpool team that was struggling, this is a good sign. And when you think about it, these are the teams that, I mean, City and Liverpool, you expected them to drop points last season. City and West Ham, those were going to be tricky fixtures. But then this time around, they are the fixtures that have won. I mean, they've lost to Arsenal already, and they've lost to United. So it's good for them, if a Liverpool fan, to that you're picking up points against City and West Ham. And then we talk about, I think, Palace for me, Crystal Palace and Wolves. I was a bit worried, not that I'm a Palace fan, but I was a bit worried when they went a goal down to Wolves on Tuesday night. But they did manage to rescue, like all the did manage to turn it around and score goals. And again, Black Excellence, I mean, I love saying this term. Black Excellence is shining through with Eze and Wilfried Zaha, man. Those are beautiful goals by both of them. And for Patrick Vieira, I think he's at 10th in the league now. You know, I expect Palace to try and push for a top-up finish. We do need a black manager to do well, to show that, yes, black coaches are good coaches as well. I know it's not, no one has said they're bad coaches, but then to, you know, the way the coaching setup is made in England, where you only see like Caucasian or South American, few of them coaches coming through. It's good to have a black coach who's doing well, who's not there just because it's a quota system or something like that. It's good to see Palace doing well and all the black players. I mean, they feel so many black players, man. You can't help but love it if you're a black guy. You can't help but love Palace if you're a black guy. But yeah, man, which other game played? Bournemouth on form. Ended up losing to Southampton 1-0. Southampton is a tricky team, eh? They just pick up these points. no one notices them picking up points, and then they start having this good spell where they just start picking up big teams. Then you notice them. No, this is a good side. So for them, I think to fight off relegation, it is a good point for them. It is a good Southampton. Sorry, it is a good 3 points for them. And Bournemouth finally losing a game. I mean, that was a good run for them. Also, they went to 6-7 games undefeated. That was a good run for them. And which other games they've played so far? The Chelsea versus Brentford game. How did Chelsea play? Chelsea played to a 0-0 draw, man. First half, we did have chances. Chelsea did have chances to win that game. Chances to score at least. I mean, I can't help but think about that Procha chance where he was through on goal and then Mount was open. Just a slide through to Mount and he buries the goal. But then Procha tried to steal the headlines, I guess. And the game ended up a 0-0 draw. I think the light, I think the shining light for Chelsea has to be Kepa. I mean, Kepa is resurrecting his career right in front of our eyes, man. If you're a Chelsea fan, I think you have to get behind Kepa now. Kepa is, I mean, he kept us in the game. That Ivan Toney header could have gone in. If it was Kepa from past 2 seasons ago, that was a goal. If it was Mendy, recent Mendy, that was a goal. So for Kepa to, I mean, it's what, 4 or 5 clean sheets on the spin now. I think it's 4 clean sheets on the spin for Kepa. And if you're Mendy, I mean, you have to wait for a chance, really. You have to wait for Kepa to either get sick or get injured or put in some shortcuts and then you come in. Because Kepa is on form. It would be weird for Potter to actually to change goalkeepers now. Because Kepa deserves his starting position. And against a clean sheet for Chelsea, you see, if you have a new coach, it's always good not to concede goals. So even if you don't score, at least don't lose the match. Don't lose the match. Build your defense confidence. And with United coming up at Stamford Bridge, man, that is a huge game for Potter. It is a huge game for Potter. And you'd expect, personally, I can see it being a draw, but then both teams are on good form now. So it'll be an interesting game. I think already touching on Game Week 13. I can't wait. I think that's the big one for Game Week 13. The Chelsea versus Man United at Stamford Bridge. And as a Chelsea fan, we haven't defeated United in a long time. I mean, especially at home, man. I think Stamford Bridge is becoming a turning field for United, or that ground where they know we always get a positive result. Potter has to pull out. But before we jump into Game Week 13, man, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you to the new members and those who are continuing to support the channel as well, man. We have interesting content coming up for the preview of that big game, the Chelsea versus United game. Please stay tuned turn on the notifications and stay tuned to the channel, man. We will drop some quality content, some entertaining content, hopefully. I mean, hopefully you guys will love the content as well. It's fun doing football content. I'm really enjoying myself, man. Thank you for the feedback and everyone who's giving us feedback and giving us contribution on how we can grow the channel and make the channel better as well, man. You know, football is the gift that keeps on giving, and we'll continue giving content, guys. I'm your host. This is fun to do, man. You can see with the smile. I'm your host, Ronald. Cheers.